think it's great to just think about what happened in the last month or week and talk about marketing in general.
I was reading one article and it was paragraph, ad. That is super annoying.
The modern audience doesn't want to waste time.
Instagram is hard to grow on unless you figure out what your niche is.
You got 1 million subscribers in the last days and they're making a lot of money that way. You can have a conversation with Kendall Jenner or any other celebrity, and celebrities don't have to do the work anymore.
She was listening to my book, which one isn't even published yet.
It's here, and it's just going to get weirder. AIs and everything. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Frustrated by Your Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Jim D'Amico, and I'm joined by my co-host, Madison McQuistion. And this is episode 17. It's another junk drawer episode where we pull out some marketing news items and tidbits that we found over the last few weeks that we wanted to talk about that don't really fill up their own show, but are interesting nonetheless. And we're going to go through a bunch of them today and see what you think. So I know Madison's got some and I've got some. So Madison, what have you found that you think is interesting marketing in the world these days?
So the one I wanted to share is actually a photo that our marketing manager, Kenya, posted in ClickUp, which is what we use for keeping track of all of our tasks. And I thought it was very interesting because it does curse in the ad. I mean, obviously it's like, it has little symbols, but you know what it's saying. And so we had a very interesting conversation about it with all of us through ClickUp. And I thought it would be kind of fun to just like talk back and forth about what you think of it and what I think of it, because it definitely catches your attention, but it's one of those ads where I think it can go either way, where you either like it because it gets your attention or you hate it because it curses.
Okay. So yeah, let me share this so we can take a peek. We'll take a look at this ad. It's from Linktree. Okay. So this is the ad that Kenya shared, and it's from Linktree. And if you get down here, here's the piece that, Madison wants to talk about. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, I know one of the things we talked about was the coloring. I do like the red background, but yellow and red will always remind me of McDonald's, to be honest. And I thought it was a McDonald's ad until you actually read the header and the description and everything. I like the header in yellow, but I think the body text is a little bit difficult to read.
I agree.
Because of it. But overall, I mean, it caught my attention. I mean, I wouldn't want my child seeing it, but...
True. And so what I think this is a play towards the younger influencers.
Yes,
so if
definitely.
if you're paying attention on Instagram and TikTok and so on, Linktree is probably the biggest player for those platforms that don't allow
that's what I
easily
use. Yeah,
they don't allow easily embeddable links, and they're making a lot of money that way. And so they went towards that youth demographic. Your influencers, definitely trend younger. My take on something like this is it looks like they're trying too hard. And if it doesn't resonate with you, it's probably a turnoff. It's not a turnoff to me that they use profanity. I think it's more that they did land. If I had to say. But it does catch your attention, and it does look a little bit like McDonald's for sure. I don't know if it's probably the exact same red or very close. The yellow has definitely got a little bit more of a green.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I definitely thought the red looked the same for sure.
And, those colors do pop. I agree with you. It is a little bit harder to read the smaller text, but it's a little unattractive. And, that's something to think about too. So,
and like you said, I mean, it definitely reaches the younger audience for sure. But it's also funny because, like I said, it could go either way, whereas you use profanity and it doesn't bother you. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but, you have people who like profanity and people who really despise profanity. So it can pretty much go half and half.
Absolutely. And, for me, I have no problem with it in my personal life. I use it plenty. But I would say, my main source of consuming media is podcasts. And when I come across one of those podcasts where it's used constantly, as a shock factor, I'm usually turned off by it. I prefer a little bit here or there when there is need for it.
Yeah.
Or if the person's really excited. But in our research for this podcast, there was one in particular, I can't remember the name of it, where it was every other word, and it made that person seem unintelligent to me. And so I am turned off by it when it's overused and when it's clearly used to get attention. When it's the right time, it's great. I'm a big fan. But so in this case, I feel like it probably wasn't.
And that's the other thing too, is we don't see this very often in ads. And I think that's why it catches your attention, because, they're trying, like you said, they're trying extra hard to stand out. And they do. But.
And so I don't know, we didn't research this too much. I don't know if this was used in any print ads. It kind of looks like a print ad, but it was sent as an email to Kenya. So it's a direct outreach into your inbox with something like this. And, I don't know if they took the next step to put it in print ads where it might have been even more shock value. In this case, it's somebody who's probably already engaged with the brand. So maybe they're looking to reinforce that. I'm not sure. Okay. So yeah, I guess we both don't like it. By and large on this one. So mine is, I want to talk a little bit about Mr. Beast. He's the number one YouTuber in the planet, has been for quite some time. He just hit 200 million subscribers. And in one day since then, now this is probably a little bit, I'll share my screen again. This is probably a little bit of a FOMO. He got 1 million subscribers in the last day since he hit. So yes, I think it was just yesterday that he hit 200 and now he's at 201 million subscribers.
Okay. I don't even know who this is.
He's the number one YouTuber. He's been doing it since he was, if you look at his community page, he's been doing it since he was 13.
Oh,
I think he's 26 or 27 now. He studied YouTube at length and it has made it his life, and he is now a very rich man because of it. So I recently started paying attention to this over the summer. It was a way to sort of kill time with my 8-year-old and 4-year-old. And, we watch these videos. They're extreme, and I look at it as sort of the modern game show. So he gives away a ton of money. He does crazy contests and crazy dares. He shows crazy things. His last.
So he kind of just does like a mix of videos.
A mix of videos, right? So this is he's showing a $1 home versus a $100 million home. And Justin Timberlake was in the video, and we thought it was really great. And he just sort of shows things that are insane, right? And he has figured out how, you can see he's got a very locked in cover image, these crazy smiley pictures of himself. He gives away, in some videos, $1 million. Usually it's $100,000, but he gives away a lot of money. He does crazy things with Lamborghinis. He's going after a younger audience, and he's going after them in a way that is very much like a modern game show. And the fact that he has more subscribers than most countries is insane. The fact that he gets more views than most TV shows is insane. The fact that I heard somewhere that his production budget for next year is $125 million, I believe. Like that's his production budget, something like that. So he spends a lot of the money that he earns, and that's how he creates these insane videos. I just think it's interesting to watch somebody who has mastered YouTube. He's the number one YouTuber. There's the number two account. He's only the only account that's got more subscribers than him is called T-Series, and it's basically MTV. If I understand it correctly, it's MTV for all of India. So the fact that he's second to something like that is insane. A country that has 1 billion people and a brand like that versus him being a single person, it's just impressive. And, something for us all to watch, owning your craft. If you look back at his older videos, they were not that great. He got better and better and more extreme and learned from himself. So I'm going to, I've been watching this for fun, but someday maybe our cover photos are going to look like this. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see, because they obviously get attention. And if you
they definitely pop for sure.
Right. They pop. There's an art to it. He takes the other thing that he does really well is he makes things very succinct. So his videos, if you look here, the 17 minutes, 19 minutes, a TV show would have taken this content and made it a 10 series, a 10 episode series. He boils it down. It's very, very quick. Everything is very quick and doesn't waste time. The modern audience doesn't want to waste time. They don't want to watch all this drama. They want all the drama. They don't want it to be dragged out. They want it all at once. So it's pretty impressive. So anyways, that's a big thing in marketing. It's definitely a big thing for YouTube. It's only the second account ever to hit on 200 million. And he's already at 201. So anyways, that's my number 2.
I mean, that goes to show you too, if he started creating like, videos that were very high quality and now look at him. It just shows that with like persistence and keeping up with something, I mean, make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah. And
he's a lot of people.
Right. He's learning from his craft, basically. He's mastering it. And I know that your next one is not supposed to be this, but this would be actually a good segue into your number 4 about your strategy. So you're learning from your marketing strategy for your book. So let's switch it around, since
actually
that's probably a better time.
Super smart to go into that, because that definitely works. So
just today you were telling me that you've uncovered some secrets to marketing your book in social media. So tell me a little bit about that and how that's going.
Yeah, so it's actually really funny. I don't even know. This was actually an accident, I feel like, how I came across videos that I knew could get a lot of views if I created them. And I mean, that's kind of how it works. You're kind of going through the motions of creating things, hoping that maybe something will stick out to people. And the first one I made was actually a interview of a girl from a TV show. And I put it over a video of Barnes & Noble. And it said, my brain, let's go book shopping today. And it's the girl getting super excited. And that has gotten about almost 400,000 views. So that's like my biggest video that kind of blew up, which got me a lot of followers. I've gotten about 400 in the last 3 weeks, which is crazy, because I've always said that Instagram is really hard to grow on unless you hit your direct audience. And I've figured that even though I'm an author, my original strategy was reaching out to other authors or following other authors, whereas like, who reads books? Readers. Like, authors read books too, but you want to reach your readers. And that's what I've realized my marketing strategy is really gripping those readers. Because then once I start marketing my book more, it's going to be easier because I already have those followers that are readers.
Okay, so let's take a peek at that. I'm going to share my screen again here.
And the other one I created, was my Pirates of the Caribbean one that I was up until midnight, I think, creating this video in Adobe Premiere Pro.
Okay.
And I took a couple of clips from Pirates of the Caribbean and made it book related. And it has gotten, I think, like 500 shares or something like that. But
which one is that in here? The Pirates of the Caribbean? Okay.
Yes, that one.
Okay. So we have Johnny Depp running away, holding a book, and he's doing his crazy Johnny Depp stuff.
Because that's the thing, is like, readers get obsessed with reading and you don't want to do anything else. And that's exactly how I am when I want to read, is I will put everything else off. And I saw this video just randomly and I was like, ooh, I should take some clips from that and turn it into something book related. And it's getting a lot of shares. And
that's amazing. So what you're doing is you're creating memes. The one that I had seen somewhere in here, I think it's here. So this is what John Krasinski.
Yep.
And this one also did really well. And so Robert Downey Jr. and
it's just like, it's also that relatable aspect too, that a lot of readers can relate to each other on a lot of different aspects. And this is one of them. So if you can reach this audience, I mean, you're pretty much set. So it is just like with marketing strategy. It's honestly finding the thing that works by just trying a bunch of different things.
Right. And so what you've done is, like you said, you've narrowed your audience. You sort of switched it a little bit to readers. You're creating memes that resonate with them. You're creating following for yourself and for your books by doing that. And then when it comes time to market that, I would keep that maybe in meme form. This is how they react. So, you'll not that you're not going to have a salesy, my book is out post, but obviously you've proven that your audience really reacts well to these memes. So using that would be a great way to get in front of them for sure.
Yeah. Or if it's a video of myself, realizing that I just need to be relatable in that aspect too. So
right.
Fun to create those. I mean, it's a lot of work, but like that video that I created with Premiere Pro took me probably about like 45 minutes. but it was worth it. So
Oh, that's not bad. For somebody to get so that one got 400,000 or the other one got 400,000?
The other one got 400,000, but this one I just posted yesterday and already has about 50. So
that's great. Okay. Well, hopefully it gets there. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously, going back to Mr. Beast, there's people look for high production value. And there's something in that with memes as well. High production value means something, not just reposting something somebody else did. So these are ones you're creating on your own. That's where you're adding to it. What will be interesting to see is if somebody starts so what I'll see with a meme that trends is someone they'll take your exact one there, and instead of a book in his hand, they'll put something else, whatever it is. And so they'll steal, memes are very often stolen or copied. So you've done half the work for them, and then they'll just, you'll see, their product or their book or something in the hand of Johnny Depp instead of what you've done. But that's a good sign because that means that you've tapped into something, which is nice.
And that's the other thing too, is there's so many, like you said with the Johnny Depp thing. I mean, there are so many different things that you could do with that. So since we have like a burger client, or like, let's say sliders or something like that, have Johnny Depp running with a wing away or something like that, because there are so many different things you can do to it and make it relatable to your clientele. And yeah, because people love funny things. I mean, that's why people are sharing it, because it's relatable.
Right. And it is funny. It was funny in the movie and it's funny now. So yeah, maybe we'll take that. We might steal from you.
Well, it's hilarious because I was sitting on the couch. I've like rewatched that so many times, and I'll just sit on the couch and Michael will just like laugh at me laughing at myself.
Okay, nice.
And I was like, I don't even care if 5 people see this. I think it's absolutely hilarious, but other people think it's hilarious too. So
good. Well, then you've successfully tapped into the meme internet social media market, which is awesome. So that's great. And again, I think the most important lesson from this is you pivoted and you learn from what it's not that it wasn't working before, but you found the secret sauce, and that's
and sometimes it just takes time. I mean, Instagram is hard to grow on unless you figure out what your niche is and kind of how to reach your followers.
And then I guess the sort of follow up to that is make sure you keep giving them what they like, because now they've followed those 400 people. That's what they want to see. So if you all of a sudden start showing them, documentary style stuff, they're going to probably bounce and unsubscribe, or at least not interact with you, which would be bad. So you've created a channel that's going to at least have some memes in it, which is okay, because that's a lot of social media out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So my number 2 this is a quick one, sort of an FYI one for anybody who's interested in podcasts. And I don't know if anybody was listening to podcasts on Google, but those are going away in 2024. We are currently on it until it disappears. But as everything that Google's been doing over the last year, this should really come as no surprise. They're basically moving their podcast into YouTube, which is where we're having our biggest success for distributing this podcast is on YouTube, even without some of the changes that are coming. So they're going to incorporate the RSS feed of your podcast into YouTube Music. That's coming at some point. They want essentially for you to be able to, what they've said here is they want you to be able to go to YouTube Music and kind of switch between YouTube and YouTube Music, depending on if you want to see or listen to a podcast, which I think is great. And it makes a lot of sense. That's obviously where they're moving, YouTube Shorts. That's where they're moving their social network. So it makes sense to bring it in there and not have it be a separate thing. So not huge news, because again, I don't think anybody was using it, and YouTube is where a lot of, I always hear that if you're under a certain age, that's actually what you use to consume music. They're not using Spotify. They use YouTube for all audio, basically. Even though it's a video source, they're using it for audio. So this makes a lot of sense, for sure. And it'll help us too, I think. So
yeah, that is super interesting. I've honestly never really listened to Google Podcasts, I guess. But that makes sense, because I feel like that's not like a platform a lot of people use for podcasts. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube is notorious for trying stuff out and then just killing it after a year. So I don't know how long this was around for. We obviously found it, whatever it was, 7 months ago. But not surprising that they would get rid of it. They get rid of tons of every year. They kill 3 or 4 products and introduce 3 or 4 new ones. So, but again, their focus now is YouTube for most things. So it makes a lot of sense that they would push you into that. And even as it stands right now, our video podcast, which this is on YouTube, and it's in a list called that you can tag as being a podcast. So I think that's going to even become more audio centric at some point. You're going to be able to like have that as a separate file or something. I don't know what's coming, but that's coming soon too. So we'll see, but they'll probably get more views. We're getting more views on Google, on YouTube than we are on all the other podcast apps combined. And I think what they'll do is their audio will probably do even better because of that back and forth. So anyways, that's new in podcasting, and I'm a little excited about it because again, we've been the most successful there. And so anything that'll help will be great.
And I guess that kind of honestly relates to my third one too.
Okay.
A little bit on kind of audiobooks and what AI is doing with audio. I've seen a lot more of this lately, especially authors posting about pirating with their books and people copywriting it by using AI to create an audiobook with an author's book. And then they will sell it on Amazon or other platforms as an audiobook and make money from it. And this is becoming a super big issue, especially with authors, because one, they're not making money from it, and it's not the actual genuine audiobook. Because a lot of authors spend a lot of money paying people to do the voices for their audiobooks. And also it's still their rights. And AI is kind of taking that away, I guess, and people are using it to their advantage to make money off of it. And one of them that I wanted to talk about is Speechify, because my sister was beta reading for me, and she was sitting over here on the couch and she started playing an audiobook, and I realized it was mine. I was like, okay, that's really weird. Why is that happening? And she said she found this app or website called Speechify where you can actually use like celebrities have their voices in there. And so you can pick a celebrity voice, you can pick other voices, you can do it in different languages. And so she was listening to my book, which one isn't even published yet, through Speechify as an audiobook. It was very weird.
So I just peeked at that between our 2 calls today, and I saw that you can have Snoop Dogg or Gwyneth Paltrow or a lot of other, like you said, read it. So did she pick, like, did Snoop Dogg read your book? Because that's what I would pick for sure.
No, definitely not.
No.
That would be absolutely hilarious though. But I can't even remember what voice she picked, but it was very weird sitting here on the couch and I would like heard the first paragraph and I was like, wait a second, that's my book. So, and she had a 4.5 hour car ride home, which is why she was trying to figure out if she could do it that way, then read it, because she was worried about her coworker spoiling some things for her. So she wanted to read it fast, but she had a really long car ride. So she was like, oh, I wonder if I could transfer this to an audiobook, but she realized you could.
Wow. AIs and everything. She should have picked Snoop Dogg for sure. I think he'd be the best. I want to hear that.
Yeah. I know. I actually should try that. I mean, you do have to pay for it, which makes sense. But yeah, there are a lot of authors saying, like, if you see this audiobook on Amazon, it is not my audiobook, not the real one. And that one that she shared, I think over like 20,000 people had bought that audiobook and it wasn't hers.
Wow.
And I guess the issue with it too is when I was kind of messing around with it with Speechify, I mean, you can tell it's AI generated because it's not, it almost kind of like has a little bit of Siri to it, if that makes sense. So there's not a whole lot of like inflection and things like that and emotion in the tone, which I think is a super important thing for audiobooks for sure. Especially when you start getting to like comments and things like that and discussion in it. But yeah.
That's crazy.
That's probably my most interesting thing I've noticed in the marketing world.
Okay. Yeah. So I've never consumed an audiobook for fiction before. I do it for nonfiction all the time. And I always prefer, even if the author's voice is not radio ready, I prefer if the author reads it, there might have been a few where it was like the guy was just really bad or the author was really bad. But to me, there's something special about that, just knowing that that was the author that that wrote it, and then they sometimes will add extra stuff. Have you ever done audiobooks for fiction? I don't know if I would like that. Not sure.
Yeah, I have. I actually am not a huge audiobook fan because I do really like just reading a physical book or reading on my Kindle. So I think depending too on who the voice is, it could kind of take you out of the book, if that makes sense. Or at least that's how I feel, is that it's hard to find a good person who you like imagine in your head as a character. So
Right.
I think it depends. But like for a 5-hour car ride, heck yeah, I will listen to an audiobook because
Oh, for
super
sure.
entertaining, and it
That
makes
would be the
the
perfect
drive
time.
go so much faster. Yep.
Yeah. And I've heard that they'll do different voices for the different characters and things like that. I don't know how that would fly for me. I got to try it just to see what it's like to do fiction.
So the one I listened to was it about a month ago. I listened to a fiction book and it was a romance, and they had, I mean, it's dual point of view. So there's a male character and the female character, and they like switch back and forth in the chapters on whose point of view it is. But they had a male voice and a female voice, which I
Okay.
actually really liked until it started getting to the commentary and things like that, where the voice of the female would like make her voice really low and deep for the male commentary.
Oh,
And it was like a little bit strange. And then the male commenter would do the same thing with the female voice, and he would make his voice go a lot higher for the female voice in the book. And it was like a little bit strange.
oh, see, it would have been better if they made it almost like a teleplay and had the other person do the other voice. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, and that's becoming more popular too now, is if there is commentary in a book and you have a male and a female voice, they'll like go back and forth, and that makes more sense than I think switching it up like that. But
Yeah, so that's another level that like becomes a production versus an audiobook, but I think that would be better for sure.
mm-hmm.
Or it'd be better to have just one voice. That would get frustrating, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, AI will do all this pretty soon. Right
Yeah,
now, you
it's
said
crazy.
it sounds a little bit like AI, but give it a little bit of time. We'll see.
Yeah. And I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not, I just said it's kind of like Siri because you can tell that it's AI generated. But yeah.
Sure.
And so you also have one that's AI.
I do. So I got a couple AI things here. So I'll skip to the one that's the most applicable here, which is Kendall Jenner and Meta. They have created a Kendall Jenner chatbot. Or I'll share my screen here so you can see her. You can chat with her. So this is just a recording of her talking. And I'll play this real quick here. It kind of loops there.
Hey guys, it's Billie. I just want to introduce myself. I am here to chat whenever you want. Message me for any advice. I am ready to talk, and I hope to talk to you soon.
That is so weird.
Super creepy. And supposedly you can chat her through Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. I'm going to guess it's more text-based, but again, I haven't used that part. And just thinking what's coming with deepfakes and just all sorts of AI interactions. Like, you know, again, Snoop Dogg could read your book. You can have a conversation with Kendall Jenner or any other celebrity, and celebrities don't have to do the work anymore. Like they can do the work at the
That
beginning
is
and then
so
retire
crazy.
and let AI take over, which is crazy.
And aren't there a bunch of celebrities that are really upset about this right now? I feel like I've seen some things that there are a few celebrities that aren't super fond of this.
A lot of them are not. It's the main sticking point, or one of the sticking points for the actor strike, was also mentioned in the writer strike, I think. But for sure, in the actor strike, they want this, you know, that the actor has to give approval before you can use their AI generator. Because a lot of AI is used for stunts, and you know they'll just do that. And you know, AI has been used when people have passed away. They've used AI to you know, generate a likeness based on previous images and video. So actors are really nervous about it for that reason, for sure.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it's weird.
I'm assuming Kendall Jenner gave the approval for that and is making a lot of money. And I think Meta said there's others that they've created too. This is the one that they've chosen to really publish. And, you know, because the Kardashians are so famous. But there are others as well. So look for this to becoming like, this is the next AI thing. It's, you know, you'll be able to have a friendly chat with your celebrity crush, or the person that you can, that inspires you to be a better writer. You'll be able to talk to them. Like I might I love Stephen King. I maybe will have a conversation with him. I don't know. I'm not sure. That might be scary, but you could. So it's coming for sure.
Yeah, so much has changed with AI, even in the past couple of months, like with the Speechify thing with audiobooks and then that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to keep improving for sure and going
absolutely.
in new directions. So
it's here, and it's just going to get weirder. And it's just, it's going to be the next year for sure, and probably the next 5 years, and probably the next decade is going to be an adjustment period for us over and over and over again, to the point where we'll probably just be like, whatever.
yeah,
We'll just get used to not being used to stuff, because it's going to happen so fast, pretty soon. So, okay, so that's my first and sort of the creepiest AI thing. I've got two others that are on AI. So this one here, I'm a big fan of Coca-Cola. Got my Coke on my desk right now.
there you go.
As usual.
Represent.
I think I was able to do that one other time. But I had this. It wasn't very good, I got to tell you, but I prefer the regular flavor. But this recipe or flavor was created in part by AI, they say. So it was first time Coca-Cola co-created with artificial intelligence. So it helped create the flavor. I'm pretty sure it helped create the name as well, Y3000. And it was okay.
You said you tried it?
I did try it. It was okay.
Well, what does okay mean? Like, if you were to compare it to regular Coca-Cola, which I don't even think...
Not as good.
I think I've tried like diet and stuff, but I haven't tried all the other flavors and things like that.
I mean, I'll consume any beverage that has caffeine in it, and I'll be okay with it. Pretty much. I prefer regular Coke or Coke Zero, which tastes a lot like regular Coke. Those are my two go-tos. But I've tried some of their limited edition flavors, and they're, okay. This is the same as the ones that were created by people. They're just not Coke. It was kind of fruity, I guess, is how I would describe it.
Interesting.
But it's interesting. The name, I'm guessing this name came from Y2K somehow. Why the Y? It's obviously looking through old stuff, the year 3000, because it's in the future. I don't know. That's my guess as to where that came from. And the flavor, how it does that, the fact that it can actually impart, information. I'm going to guess they ran their other flavors through some AI algorithm, and it kicked back out a new recipe that they tried and thought it was okay. It's interesting. It was an interesting marketing tactic, and it wasn't
so
bad.
Interesting.
It wasn't like I couldn't drink it. So,
but it was like still sweet though, right? Or was it literally just like, okay?
Oh no, it tastes. I mean, it did not taste like. It tasted like Coke. It just tasted like a flavor of Coke. Just like lime. Lime Coke is better.
Maybe I'll have to find that somewhere then, because now I'm super interested.
Yeah, cherry Coke is better. The classics. This just had a bunch of different flavors going on at once, so it still tastes like Coke. It just. So yeah, I thought that was interesting that would happen. And then my other one, so this is, my brother brought this to my attention. I thought this was very interesting. It has a lot to do with marketing. It has a lot to do with reviews that we talked about a lot. And it sort of proves the case that AI is coming to everything. So I've only seen this. I was searching on the desktop Amazon app, but I did not see this. But if you search for a product that has a lot of reviews, it will use AI to create a summary of the review. So this was he was searching for frozen Skittles, apparently is a thing, or no, not frozen Skittles. I guess frozen Skittles. And I guess this is a new trend in candy. There's
always new trends in candy. I love it.
Right. I feel like there's another word within frozen something, but whatever. So anyways, if you search for them, you can see it has 4.4 stars out of 5. You could obviously go through and look through all the reviews. There's 11,000 ratings here almost. Or you can read this AI-generated text that'll tell you that...
That is so interesting.
It tastes, quality, and texture of sugar candies. Some say they're delicious, and they're fun to eat, and way better than regular Skittles. Interesting.
So they're just like the Skittles you just pop them in the freezer.
Right, but there's another word to it. It's like flash frozen or something. But yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the freeze-dried.
Freeze-dried, right. That's the word. Freeze-dried Skittles. So,
freeze-dried candy is a huge thing right now. I've been wanting to try that.
I've never had it. So it's not just frozen, it's freeze-dried. And people say that they're crushed and they're not durable, right? So you can see that there's that, but they taste good. They have good quality and good texture. So that's what people see. And you don't have to read all the other reviews now, which is nice. Although I would probably still go look at the 1-star reviews to see what's on it. But this is coming, this is coming to Google reviews for sure. I don't know, Yelp probably won't do it, but the fact that now you don't have to search through to figure out what's going on, because if by and large this is what the AI is saying and we trust it, we might ignore the fact that there's a few naysayers in there. The 0.6 out of 5 here that are upset, which is super interesting. And you can also see like what's good. And if I was concerned about crushability, I would be like, oh, well, even though a lot of people are saying this, so maybe I don't want these. It'll tell you really, in addition to giving you your summary, it'll tell you what was bad and what was good, which is amazing. So AI, again, is saving us time. It's giving us a better view here. And then it's still giving you the other data. You can drill down, and I'm okay with this as long as it still allows me to look at the 1-star reviews or the 5-star reviews to see what was really good from one specific person. But when I'm normally doing that, I'll look at 3 or 4. Here I can see a summary of all of them, which is nice. So great.
Interesting.
What I would love is if this had a recent AI. So recently people have been saying this because, if you've got 11,000 reviews, this might have been over the last 2 years. So recently people have been saying
I like that idea.
More people have been complaining about this, or more people have been, because sometimes their packaging sucked a year ago, and that's why there was all these negative reviews. But nobody's talking about that now because they figured it out. That would be awesome.
Or sometimes like places will change ownership and things like that too, and then business will head in a different direction. Yeah.
Right. So that's my sort of AI in the news section. Lots of AI as usual out there in marketing and just in every place for sure.
Yeah, and then my last one is honestly just super simple. When I was preparing for this episode, I was hitting a couple websites, and honestly, I can't remember what the websites were, but a lot of them had a ton of ads. Like I was reading one article, and it was paragraph ad, and I was like, okay, that is super annoying because one, it made me exit out of the website, and I know people can make money from ads on their website, but I mean, you want to keep people there. And it's like things like that will have somebody bouncing from your website super quickly.
Oh, absolutely. And, recipes are notorious for this. News sites are notorious for this. And my big frustration is when I click into a news article or a recipe. So I've been clickbaited in some case, and I want to find out how to make the recipe for the recipe. And if I've clicked on an article, I want to find out what the title was saying, right? So I want to find that out. And they will tease that for paragraphs in order to put in multiple ads throughout. And it gets very frustrating for you to get to what you actually care about. And usually I'll try just like taking my thumb and, sort of skimming to the bottom, which is usually where the recipe is, if I'm trying to cook something, or they might finally tell the what the article title was. But in a lot of cases, I'll just, once I realize that's what I'm going to see, I go find something else, because I don't want to see millions and millions of ads in order to get to something. And in a lot of cases, they don't actually even tell you the thing that you want to see, because their goal is just to get you to keep swiping.
Yep.
And seeing more and more ads so that they get more and more ad revenue, which is crazy.
And the one that I was looking at too, it was the same ad, at least because they direct the ads to you. So it was actually, I think it was a SEMrush. I think that's what it is, right? The SEO software. It was an ad for that, but I saw it like 10 times in the same article. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
a little over this website now.
The repetition is good, but it gets frustrating sometimes when you're like streaming something with that's not ad free, and you see the same ad 3 times in the same break. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. It hasn't happened to me in a while.
Yeah, we have Peacock, and that has been happening a lot lately.
Right. So it's not even like you're seeing the same ad 3 times throughout the same show. You're seeing it 3 times in a row. I don't know what I think they just don't have more ads to show, but that has the opposite effect, I think, because now it's not the repetition, it's more the frustration. So you have a negative connotation with that ad. So you now have a negative connotation with SEMrush, maybe because they didn't have other ads to show for you. They don't know enough about you. They know they know that you're in SEO, so they're going to show that.
Yep.
But there is that negative connotation as well of seeing it so often that it becomes, any ad is off-putting, but it becomes off-putting at another level, which is a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And then what was your last one?
I'm going to skip my last one, I think, because I think we're going to we're at 41 minutes right now.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And we're going to do more of these because I thought this would be a 20-minute episode with the ones we picked. So I was wrong. And I have a bunch that I had already saved because I didn't want this to be too long. So I'm going to save this one for that. And we'll do more of these sort of junk drawer, quick bites, what's in marketing news type episodes. Because I like these. I think it's great to just think about, what happened in the last month or week or whatever, and talk about marketing in general. Because, even though this doesn't have a set topic, it's the set topic is marketing and being frustrated by stuff and a lot of AI and a lot of what's new.
There's a lot happening right now too, so it is fun to go through it all.
Right. So this was our next episode. I don't think we're gonna title it Junk Drawer, but this is in our Junk Drawer series per se. Maybe we will. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out when we go to post it. But it's just fun to look at it. And I'm not going to say when we'll see you because I can't commit to. Is it going to be 1 week? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Sometimes it's the next week. Sometimes it's 3 weeks later. But we'll see you soon. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, most of you are. Thanks for watching. You get to see, we have a lot of visuals that I've been sharing. It'll be up on the screen. If you're listening, that's great too. That's how probably I would be listening to it. So, you can go to the show notes and see links to all these things that we've been talking about. Again, like and subscribe and keep following along. We've been enjoying it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you guys later.
Bye.